Greetings and welcome to the Power Gamer Podcast. I'm your host, Mike Dawson, joined as always by fellow hosts, Johnny Paulus and Kim Ponticello. Johnny, welcome in, sir. How are you doing this week?
I'm doing good. I got a couple gigs this weekend, and I finally decided that I have had enough with the shitty failing battery life on my fucking PlayStation 5 controllers. I don't know if you have this problem, but I have 3 DualSense controllers, and 2 of them I can take them off the charging dock, sit down and start gaming, and within an hour it's telling me the battery's low. Like literally they're that bad. So I finally got curious and I Googled, how hard is it to open a DualSense controller and swap out the battery? And it's actually really simple. The bottom part, like the little black part that goes around the thumbsticks, just pulls off with fingernails. And then there's a screw on the end of each one of the handles. And then there's a screw under the bumpers. And that's it. So it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, boop, comes off. Battery pack disconnects, unplug the cable. So the default battery in a DualSense is 2650 milliamp per hour. And I found battery replacements on Amazon that are 4200. It's almost double the battery life. And they're $16. So I was like, done. Ordered 2 of them, but get them here now. So because I'm tired of these things dying. So, but I'm also very excited for my Spider-Man controller that's going to be under the Christmas tree.
Oh, look at you go.
I had to have it with the fucking symbiote going across. I had to have it.
Yeah, I wouldn't say my battery life on my PlayStation controllers is quite as bad as an hour. But it's like 3 or 4. And if you forget, like you get up and you walk away and like you forget to plug it in while you're off doing stuff, you come back and the thing's always fucking dead. Yeah. Unlike the MVP here, the little Xbox controller, where holy shit, man. I've got 2 just rechargeable lithium AA batteries in it. They last for like 10, 12 hours, something like that.
I got this on Amazon. It came with 4 of these little packs that fit perfectly into the Xbox and charges 2 at a time with a little USB guy.
That's really nice.
It's like $20 or something like that.
You would need 4 of them just to hold up to your aggression when playing Ori on stream.
I've stopped using DualSense. My last DualSense controller crapped out on me. And so I started doing some research. I did have one of my wonderful, wonderful viewers, community members, friends sent me their PS5 controller that they weren't using because they got a nice pink one. So, but in the meantime, I ended up switching over to a Victrix, and It is completely customizable. Like those little screws, you can swap it out and make it Xbox style. You could even put Xbox buttons on, and it is
that's cool.
By far and it has
nice
everything. It is by far one of the best controllers I've ever had in my life. I love it.
Have you, Kim? Have you ever checked out the Xbox Design Lab?
No.
Did you know that you can get an officially licensed Xbox controller that you customize to your own color scheme? So like this guy matches the color scheme of my stream. The red, the orange, the yellow, and I
don't have an Xbox.
I play this on the PC.
But I have a PS5.
Oh, fair enough.
Yeah.
But for PC gaming, I have this guy. But yeah, you can on Xbox Design Lab, you can just customize a controller. It's badass.
That is really awesome, though. I love that. Yeah, this I use you can use this on 4, 5, and PC, and it has like a little button here to switch which one you want to use, and then you just plug the dongle in. And
how much are those? That's a cool little controller.
180.
Woo!
It's not that bad. For what that is, with the customizable placement, the back buttons.
Thank you to my community.
Well, think about what the DualSense Pro costs. That's a $200 controller.
It's a $200. That's what I was going to get. I was going to get that, and then I ended up going with this because that's exactly it. It's not great. So,
I will probably never buy a controller in that price point ever again because I went through 2 Xbox Elite controllers, and I was like, nope, I'm done. This is like triple the price of a normal one, and both of them got really bad stick drift. And I just said, all right, fuck it.
Yeah, that's what happened to my DualSense was really bad stick drift.
Well, Johnny, welcome in.
Thank you.
Kim, welcome to the show this week. How are you doing?
Thank you. I'm doing fantastic. Oh, I have really good news. I literally forgot about this until this second. I just got into the Wired. I don't know if you know Wired Games. They're developers and publishers. I just got into their creator collaboration,
Wow,
which is pretty
congrats.
awesome. Thank you. We're going to be doing a big Advent event this December, and a bunch of creators are going to be streaming one of their games called Tin Hearts. It's like a really fun, cute little puzzle game. It's really nice. And we're going to have a bunch of keys to give away and all that stuff. So that was really cool. And then the what?
I just said sweet.
Oh, and then the other thing is that I can't stop thinking about is I'm very excited for Avatar because that's coming out this month. And as a Ubisoft creator, I am sitting here with my fingers crossed so hard. They spoiled us. They spoil me rotten every season with Rainbow Six. I get everything from Siege, which makes me so happy. And they gave us Mirage. And I'm like, I am literally hoping that we get Avatar as well, because that game looks so good. It was described as Far Cry, but in the Avatar world. And I am like, that's
Take my money.
exactly.
The AAA quality on everything they've shown
Yeah.
from that is, I mean, it's massive, massive entertainment. So that's not surprising.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, everything they've shown of that game so far looks really great, and it's only a week away. Can you believe that?
I know.
It's December 7th, so a week from when we're recording
Tomorrow.
this.
Yeah.
So for you guys listening, you only have 5 days until this game comes out.
Yeah, I think that game, as much as I want to buy it day one, I think that's ultimately going to be a game under the Christmas tree for the boys, most likely. So I gotta wait
For
till
the
Christmas
boys.
too. Yeah.
Right.
Well, no, I'm sure as soon as the marketing push happens for that game, I guarantee they're going to be all over it.
Yeah.
They're both going to want in.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, fantastic. Kim, welcome in.
Thank
and
you.
to all of our listeners and our viewers out there, welcome to episode 140 of your Power Gamer podcast. You guys have been doing a great job out there, community. And we noticed, God damn it. You guys are really downloading the show a ton. You've left us over 14 5-star reviews on Spotify.
Damn.
We've seen nice traffic on YouTube. So big shout out to you guys, the listeners, for making this happen and giving us hope moving forward that we can continue to grow this community and bring you the best gaming podcast ever and more content each and every week. Oh man, we've got some things to discuss this week. I'm excited. We actually have a showcase. Where have all the showcases been? It just feels like we've been getting garbage trucks of games just dumped on us constantly for like the past few months, and like nothing to talk about. I think everyone's waiting for the video game awards, and so we've just had like this massive drought of new things to talk about. And you know, December coming up, I mean outside of Avatar, there's not really other like big triple A-esque things coming this year. Like that's really the last one I can think of on the calendar for the year. And that is the same day as the Video Game Awards that it comes out, December 7th. So this week, there's been a few showcases, but one that we wanted to highlight here because it intrigued me. Dragon's Dogma is a game that has a pretty well developing cult following, and it has for a while. The game's certainly had new life well past its release. And you know, I always kind of thought it was interesting because Dragon's Dogma sort of came out originally when Capcom wasn't doing amazing. You know, we think of Capcom today and we think about a publisher that basically just releases surefire hits. But Capcom 10 years ago, that wasn't really the case.
Yeah.
Resident Evil 6, although it sold very well, to this day sort of has a lukewarm perception. They weren't doing much with their flagpole franchises. Fast forward 10 years, and that seems like a distant memory. Every game that Capcom puts out of late has just been quite almost the image of perfection. In the Resident Evil series, the Street Fighter series. So it seems like high time for Dragon's Dogma to come back. There's certainly been a lot of interest for single player RPGs. I know a lot of that is to credit to From Software and the Souls games and Elden Ring and the slew of fucking imposters trying to do the exact same thing. And, I really like that format of game. I really do. But it's kind of like I'm tired of everyone copying the formula. Everyone is trying to make the next Souls game. We've had just in the past couple of months, what was it? Lies of P, the Lords of the Fallen reboot.
Yep.
Some others. I mean, that formula seems to be the only thing people are comfortable producing anymore. So it's very nice to see a game like Dragon's Dogma 2 get announced, us really get a deep dive look of the game. And, it's unabashedly not a Souls-like game, which has me excited. So the showcase is out. You can check it out on YouTube or wherever. But the basic kind of needs to know Dragon's Dogma 2 is slated to come out March 22nd of 2024. This is going to be Capcom's first $70 title. And yeah, it looked pretty good. So, Kim, I'll kind of start with you here. I think we all had a chance to check out pieces or the whole showcase and kind of gather our thoughts on Dragon's Dogma 2 and what we've seen so far. So, what do you make of it?
Well, I mean, for sure, it made me want to play, even though you don't have to play the first one, which I thought was a really good move on their part, to be honest with you, because it's a big game. And I think sometimes that'll turn people off if you've had a big game that you've never played and didn't have a whole ton of interest playing, and then all of a sudden a second one comes out and you have to play the first one to understand it. I think that can kind of like push some people away. And
Alan
so
Wake 2.
yeah, I mean, I can't wait for that, but so it's like I think they made a really, really good decision by doing that, number one. But at the same time, Dragon's Dogma 2 has been in my bowl, right? And I've been wanting to play it. I'm like sitting here hoping to pull it out. And so now this made it so I'm like, all right, well, maybe that's going to be one of the ones that I take out of the bowl and actually just play in preparation for the second one, even though I don't have to prepare. But the showcase made me want to play it because I just the lore and I it just looks so good. They did a good job selling it. I got to tell you, they really did. The voice acting in the trailer, or in the showcase, I should say, and the graphics, and I think Capcom did a really, really nice job with this, and I'm really excited for it. And I will absolutely. It's like one of those moments where it's like, as a Capcom creator, I am. That's like one of those moments where it's like, I'm a Capcom creator. Look what they did. You know what I mean? It's
absolutely.
so cool. It's just such a cool thing for them, and I think they're pretty good at listening to their players, to their fan base, and I think they're going to have a hit on their hands with it.
Well, you made a great starting point, and they kind of came right out of the gates in the showcase and said, "Hey, look, this is in a parallel universe, so
Yes,
it's the same locations, but the story it's not taking place in the same universe even as the first game. So come on in. I mean, I've been watching Kim on her stream over on Twitch at Mikaran, Mikkiran. There we go.
Good job.
Kind of go through the entire Alan Wake everything. So Alan Wake Remastered, which you had to play like parts of it twice because the PC version was all janked.
So broken, yeah.
You've been going through Control and absolutely loving it.
Finish that. Yep.
You're almost through the DLCs now too, I think. So
Yep. Yeah.
and this has all been triggered by the release of Alan Wake 2 and wanting to have the background in the series before you go into it.
Yes.
So yeah, there is a ton of pressure, especially on some of these old franchises, which is in part too what makes it surprising that they're even doing a Dragon's Dogma 2 to begin with. Is because people feel a lot of pressure when a new game in a series comes out to go back and make sure that they've seen everything beforehand, kind of like a TV show. So, Johnny, I know, or at least I think that you also haven't played the first Dragon's Dogma game. So, where's your interest level in Dragon's Dogma 2 after this showcase this week?
Yeah, so first off, anytime someone mentions Resident Evil 6, I chuckle because the 6 in Resident Evil looks like a person filleting a giraffe. And if you don't believe me, just go ahead and Google it. The 6 in Resident Evil 6 looks like a person doing inappropriate things to a giraffe. Moving on. Dragon's Dogma falls into that weird window of time where I missed out on a lot of console games. And there's these big cult followings for like Demon Souls and Bloodborne and Dragon's Dogma, and I didn't play fucking any of them because I was playing World of Warcraft and I was playing like League of Legends and shit like that. I was not really touching my console. So this game, I mean, when I heard that they were doing a Dragon's Dogma 2, I was like, okay, well, I guess the hardcore fans of that game are going to be excited because they're finally getting their sequel. Dude, 30 seconds into this trailer, I was like, yep, I'm in. Between like the giant Medusa monster and the huge monster coming out of the sea and all the different classes, and the combat looks like a fucking blast. And like Kim said, the graphics are awesome. My wife was sitting there next to me watching the showcase and was like, fuck, I'm interested. This looks great. Even and then, like you said, right away they addressed the elephant in the room, and this is a parallel universe. And even my wife was like, oh, so great, we don't need to play the first one. I mean, they knocked the presentation out of the park. But I mean, no, I went from whatever, I'm sure somebody else is going to be excited, to like, yep, I have to play this.
I definitely got. Oh, I'm sorry. I got super excited. That the big what was it? Talos, the big stone golem that came out of the water, got me so excited because it came out and I was like, wow, that's really beautiful. Like, what a cool creature. And then all of a sudden you see your character jump on it, and immediately I was like, Shadow of the Colossus. Like, I just got all of the feelings back from just playing Shadow of the Colossus that I missed so much already. And I saw that and I was like, oh man, I'm sold. Like, I'm just sold.
Yeah, they also were kind of showcasing some of the unique points of this game, including in the character classes. They really put some time highlighting this one called the Trickster, who I think might just be like an angry Catholic clergyman. Because he's got one of I don't know the right term for it because I'm Presbyterian, so sorry Catholics. But the thing that normally holds like the incense, he's got the smoke thing, and he's whipping it around all crazy, and out of the smoke he's like creating wolves and warriors and stuff, and they're basically going and doing all the fucking fighting for him. I'm like, this is out of control. What is happening right now? Kim, did you see the Trickster class in this?
So I was watching with I said to Pike, my partner, I was like, oh, I have homework, by the way, and you're gonna watch it with me. So we put on the I put on the video. I was like, this is perfect. I have a ton of work to do, but I'm having lunch. Let's watch this. And man, when that Trickster came on, I was like, because it's right up my alley. I mean, right up my alley. I was like, well, if they didn't sell me before, that would, between that, the voice acting, the graphics, the beauty of the whole thing, I was like, now they really, it's almost like they were like, let's take notes on everything that everybody would want. And they pulled out their notepad and they were like, look, guys, we have everything. And it's like, no,
Yeah.
it's so good. I can't wait. The
Guess
trickster
what?
looked
We checked
amazing.
all the boxes.
Yes.
That fire bow with the flames coming off of the ends of it, that's what I want. I want that. And also whatever class did the like jump up and kick off their chest to get some distance away from it.
Oh yeah.
Dude, the combat looks so fucking good in this game.
It does. It looks so fun.
I cannot wait to play it. And Mike, you're absolutely right. I mean, with us just being buried in Souls likes and me not being a big Souls person, like I enjoyed Elden Ring because I had the open world aspect, but
enjoyed.
I mean, I'm just saying, anytime I try to sit down and play Dark Souls or Demon Souls, it's just I'm not wired for it, man. It's not.
Oh, but it's so fun to watch.
It's interesting because I feel like I'm really happy they did something different as well, because I feel like this is what happens with games, right? So if you think about like battle royales, right? So all of a sudden it was like battle royales everywhere. Everything was a battle royale. Some of them succeeded, some of them didn't. And it's the same thing. So you have like, I mean, Dark Souls has been around forever, but then all of a sudden it was like this resurgence. And so all of a sudden it's like Thymesia, Lords of the Fallen, Lies of P. There's so many Souls likes that are coming back out again. I had beaten Bloodborne when it first came out. I fell in love with it. I've yet to play Lies of P. I've wanted to. It's beautiful. I'm a little bit intimidated by it because I've heard it's so freaking hard. But it's nice. It's really nice to see a game come out that's like, hey, let's go back to let's release an RPG, because I think the gaming community needs one right now. So it's really nice.
Yeah, it's really only been Zelda jumping into that space. I mean, Johnny, Tears of the Kingdom is the last one that comes to mind. There were some past action adventure RPGs like Kingdoms of Amalur, which I think you're also familiar with.
Yeah.
Can you think of any others really of late that have...
Final Fantasy XVI is straight up action RPG. There is no strategy. It is just kicking ass the entire time. So yeah, that one's definitely action RPG. But no, there's not much if you don't want to play a Souls like. There really isn't. And the other thing is there's also major scarcity in a true RPG where you design your character, you have tons of different classes, and you can, we don't get a lot of those, at least not in the action genre. We get tons of CRPGs and we get tons of like old school, like, 16-bit style retro JRPGs, but like a game like this where there used to be a lot more of these, and we don't get that many anymore. I think with BioWare sort of doing whatever the fuck BioWare is doing, the torch needs to be picked up for action RPGs. Like, someone, please, we'll play them, we'll give you our money, like, just make them. And this, again, I mean, I feel like anybody who sat down and watched this trailer would go, yeah, I want this.
So we've gushed.
Yes.
I have to be Mike Dawson though, and I did notice some bad
same
in this showcase, and I'm kind of interested to get both y'all's takes here. So I mean, right off the bat, I am a little concerned at how rough some of the edges were on this game, considering that it's coming out in 4 months, 5 months.
3 months. Well, yeah, I guess almost 4.
So I've learned not to ever trust publishers whenever they give us their first release date. And, I've just kind of been hardwired to go, okay, they're saying March, it's going to get delayed. We might see it by summertime.
Which I'm okay with.
Yeah.
If it's because they're improving games. I mean, we've seen what happens when games come out when they shouldn't have.
Yeah. 100%, release it when it's right. Don't just release it early. Please, God, never give us a Cyberpunk thing to talk about ever again. I guess main areas where I kind of noticed stuff, and you guys can back me up on this or tell me if you spotted any different things, but I noticed the camera work when they were fighting the Talos was like PS2 era camera work where there's like even one point where like you completely lose sight of the character as the camera's trying to refocus as he's moving around the guy's body. I'm like, well, that actually does that's a quite a hat tip to Shadow of the Colossus, because that game struggles with
That
that
gave me a little
mightily.
bit of PTSD at that moment.
The other thing that I saw was a classic criticism of BioWare games, actually, where some of the character faces looked really,
Yes.
for lack of a better word, shitty. Particularly when
Just
they,
emotionless.
yeah, particularly like when they
Yeah.
got to the part where they were showcasing that Elven quest, and like you're like, oh, cool, they have their own Elven language, and then you see the guy, and his face just kind of looks like this.
Don't make fun of him. You know, that
Hello,
might be how he looks.
are you here to save my sister? And I'm like, what the fuck, man? So yeah, you have to if you want to see why people were laughing, you have to check us out on YouTube. So yeah, I mean, Kim, I saw some rough edges there. Did you see kind of the same things or any different things there?
I did, but I kind of go into things like, you know, when they're showcasing a game, it's never the finished product. And they tend to look and look and look and go over things and check things out, and um, you know, fixes like that. I mean, I look at it this way: if if the devs at if CD Projekt Red went in and completely rehauled the game and added NPCs that actually behave properly and cars that don't look like boxes and aren't 2D, um, you know, in the course of, you figure it's 4 months, they're not done yet, you know, and they can go in and hone some things and update some rigging and you know, all that type of stuff. So I'm not too stressed about it. Plus the other thing is, I'm going to play it anyway. So I'm not going to sit here and bitch about it, because guess what? Like Johnny said, take my money. Like, I'm going to get the game. I'm going to play the game.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to sit here, and I'm just not one to, I guess I kind of don't like nitpick on a lot of things like that, because I look at it like I'm not going to get myself worked up until the game is released. And if it releases and there's stuff like that, well, then guess what? It makes for really funny content anyway when I'm streaming. So,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, Johnny, did you notice anything different, or maybe some of the same things?
Yeah, I didn't notice the camera thing, but the one thing that really stuck out to me, and it's actually, I have the exact same gripe with Final Fantasy XVI. I haven't mentioned it before in my talks of Final Fantasy XVI, but it's the inconsistency in the quality level of the character models. Because it's like some character models are like, holy shit, man, we are in next gen. This looks fucking awesome. And then they go to the next character and it's like, I am a motionless robot that looks like I'm made out of porcelain. And it's just like, and then it switches to the next part of the trailer and fucking, oh shit, everything else looks great. Oh my God, look at the dragon. Oh my God, look at that. Like, some of the game looks so fucking good. Like some of the best shit I've seen. But then the camera cuts and it's like, ugh, let's keep that guy, let's keep that character away from the camera, please. Yeah, it's inconsistent, and hopefully it's can be polished. But I mean, a lot of times with these big RPGs, it's just kind of goes with the territory. You know, they can't all be, you know, Witcher 3. You're going to get characters that are just not fully, you know.
I guess the part that's confusing for me about it is that it's Capcom. And when I think of Capcom,
right,
the last thing I can ever think to complain about in any of their recent titles is particularly character models. I would say is, I mean, they
absolutely,
hands down have some of the best, period. I mean, what's done in the Resident Evil series, I think is some of the best graphics you'll see in games today.
Agreed.
At all, particularly in like Resident Evil 4 remake, Resident Evil 8, even 7, which is pretty old at this point. I mean, the character models in that are just absolutely flawless looking. So I was taken a little back by some of the fidelity issues. Kim, I get what you're saying. You know, the chicken's not hatched yet, so to speak.
Yeah.
Where I still have some level of concern, though, is with how close that release date is generally when we see something in a showcase at this point, that is going to be pretty indicative of what the final product is, at least visually. This kind of stage of the development cycle is usually just sorting out bugs, letting the playtesters really grind and try and break the game. So I think it's probably going to look like what we saw. But where I do have some areas where I'm like, okay, it can improve. Absolutely, in the frame rate department, we're going to see better frame rates when this thing is released than what we were seeing in the showcase. Not to bring up this particular franchise, but it's the best example I can think of. When Hogwarts Legacy was first shown, I mean, I was blown away at how shit the frame rate was in every single showcase they did of the game. But then, of course, when it came out, that wasn't an issue at all. So I'm thinking, yeah, it's probably going to be hopefully some of the same here with Dragon's Dogma 2. One thing that I definitely want to point out is, and this makes me very happy, is that we know where the game is going to be released. So the game is going to be released on PlayStation 5. It's going to be released on Xbox Series X and S, and it's not going to be released on Switch, and it's not going to be released on last-gen hardware. So they have nothing holding them back to push and squeeze every last bit of power out of the current consoles, other than having to account for the Series S. So I know with you guys, it's probably a shoo-in that it'll be played on PC. I'm always hopeful to get a good console version so I can sit on my lovely couch here behind me and enjoy the game on my TV with my pets. But yeah, if there's big hindering issues like what I dealt with Redfall and what I dealt with Starfield, then of course I'll concede and play it on PC. Any closing thoughts on Dragon's Dogma before we move on, Kim?
No.
Johnny?
No, I think we hit all the good and the bad. The game looks great. It hit me completely, just blindsided me with how awesome the showcase was.
It looks really good. I'm definitely interested in this, so I'll be looking forward to see if that release date holds up. And yeah, hopefully Kim gets tossed a copy by Capcom. That would be awesome.
Oh, that'd be amazing.
So it's time for my favorite part. We're going to move on to talking about the games that we've been playing this week. Johnny, I'm going to flip the script a little bit here and put you on first, because you've got a short list here, and you've got a great one to talk about that I know me and Kim are both really excited about. So why don't you go ahead and get started with the games we've been playing this week?
Thank you, Mike, and thank you, Kim, for telling me to play Bramble the Mountain King. It was awesome.
It's ultimately all thanks to Kim, but I'll take some credit.
I wasn't as enamored with it as you two were. Like, I'm not going to throw a 9+ at it, but considering it's on Game Pass and I knocked it out in like 4 hours, and it had some of the most inventive boss fights I've ever had, and it had, I think, without question, the best execution of a piece of classical music in a video game like ever. I was just fucking stunned at how cool that part of the game was. My biggest hindrance with the game, I hated the way Oli looked. Like, every single time they showed that character, he looks like a porcelain doll. He did not look like a person at all. And it was so much more frustrating to me because so many of the other characters looked great. But then every time it's back to Oli, I'm like, oh my God, like, come on. It was almost the Gollum effect. It was like, how did this make the final thing? And it's
oh, come on, you can't.
I feel bad with it bothering me, but it fucking bothered me, man.
But I just want to make something clear. Okay, Gollum looks like it was designed by somebody that shouldn't be doing video game design.
Okay, that's fair. That's totally fair. Okay, unfair comparison. I agree.
Oli looks like an artistic choice.
Yeah. That didn't work for me.
That's fine.
It's not a big thing, but no, that game definitely it goes there. When you think it's gonna go bad, it goes real fucking bad. I would say anybody that's on Game Pass or anybody that enjoys like short little indie adventures like this, that this is a strong recommend. I did really enjoy my time with it, and boy was it fucked up. But I would definitely say, if you are easily triggered by gore, violence, or infanticide, maybe skip this one. It does
Infanticide.
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 Man, it is. Whew, it was a dark
It's
one.
it's deep. It's deep and it's dark, and by far one of my favorite games. And I'm still so frustrated it wasn't up for. It wasn't even nominated for indie game.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Meanwhile, Dave the Diver. No hate against Dave the Diver. The game's awesome, but it's not an indie game.
Right.
And so to see that nominated and not Bramble, which was an absolute masterpiece, is so infuriating to me. It was fun watching you play. It was really cool and it was funny. So Mike, you had talked a little bit about Bramble the last time. And so Johnny started playing it and he comes across one of the gnomes for the first time and he goes, "Oh, I know something that happens and I don't want it to." Because you had talked about it and it was really fun to watch you play. It was very, very cool.
And those gnomes are like the cutest thing ever.
I know.
Like they're cuter than Baby Yoda. They're ridiculously cute. And then the little gnomes were like the fucking cutest thing ever. But no, I mean, especially if you're a fan of like fairy tales, and fairy tales in general get pretty fucking dark. Hansel and Gretel and witches eating people and wolves eating grandmothers, and
I mean, the original fairy tales were very dark. Cinderella, one of the sisters cut her pinky toe off to make the slipper fit. The other one cut her heel off to make the slipper fit. So the way that they're known now aren't what they were. Fairy tales are dark. They're very, very dark.
Yeah. So this I felt that it was and another thing that was really interesting with it. So as soon as I started playing this game, there was one person came into the chat that's like obsessed with this game, and they just anytime somebody's playing this game and streaming it, they pop in and you could just tell they're just obsessed with this game. Every time I'd go live with it, bam, they're right there in the chat, and they pointed out there's this musical piece sung by, it sounds like a girl choir, like a schoolgirl choir. And he was telling me, I think in Sweden, I think it's a Swedish video game. Is that correct?
Well, the song's in Swedish, yeah.
Okay, so, and he explained to me that the song that is featured in two big parts of the game, one fairly early and one a little bit later, is a song that they sing at the end of the school year. It's like a big school tradition at the end of the year. And it's a really beautiful piece of music. And it's not in English, so I don't know what they're saying, but apparently all the words are about, the spring into summer, and the sun will shine and how beautiful everything's going to be. And while that music is playing, it is not, not a pretty time. But now, I mean, it was an adventure, and it was a fairy tale, and it was like, that wonder and fear and terror that comes with like the first time you read Jack and the Beanstalk and he's chased by the giant, and the giant wants to fucking squish him into jelly. When you're a little kid, that's scary shit. This goes there and shows everything. So it is definitely a fairy tale aimed for adults, but now I'm very, very impressed, and I liked it a lot. Yeah. I'm going to give it. Go ahead.
I'm going to shoot you a music video. The song's called Den Blomstertid Newcomer. And it's recorded. The vocalist in the song is a Swedish artist named Bjorn, who's kind of like somebody that used to work at Guitar Center with us. Like, she almost kind of looks the same. And has that kind of ethereal voice. So I'll put that over in our Discord chat so you can check it out. But
yeah, I'd love to see that.
The soundtrack on this game is phenomenal. So
yeah.
Sorry, go ahead. I cut you off.
No, I mean, you're right, and I didn't really mention it much, but the score is one of the highlights for this game. It's one of the best scores in a video game in a very, very long time. It's really, really special. I'm going to give it an 8.5, which for an indie game that took me 4 hours to play, it's a fucking awesome score. So a strong recommend.
Yep. So 8.5 from you, big recommend from Kim, 9.7 from me. It really struck a chord with me.
Yeah. And moving on, dear Lord, this game does not end.
We are all so tired of hearing about
Please
it.
be done.
Please
I'm
beat
trying,
it.
dude. I was trying tonight. It's still going. Final Fantasy 16. I broke the 80 fucking hour mark with this game.
Final Fantasy 16.
80 hours. 80. I'm still playing this fucking thing. And the worst part is there's all this build up to go face the final villain, and they even did the thing where like all of your companions are there and your save point is there and the vendor is there and you're like, oh, this is last boss fight. Tonight's the night. And that was when like my wife went to bed and I turned the game off. We're like, all right, tomorrow we're rolling credits. And we go in and we do the fight, and then it's like, all right, cool, we didn't get him, something else, let's go back to town. And you're like, oh my god, like it kind of did a Tales of Arise for me a little bit, where it's like I was ready for the game to be done. I was really ready for it to be done. And then it's like, but wait, there's more side quests and little things you got to do first. I'm like, I just want to be done. The side quests continue to be better than the first half of the game. I would recommend, although I hated the earlier ones, most of them are pretty short. I would recommend doing them because there's one thing the game does really well, and I haven't mentioned this yet, is that there are different towns with different characters, and most of them have very satisfying arcs where you have a very nice impact on the town and the people there, and you sort of wrap the bow on that town in the side quests, and then you go to the next place and there's another character that you've interacted with several times past. You need to help them out with here, and then now that town has a nice little satisfying arc. So I'm definitely making like the victory lap around the areas and closing all the gaps and finishing all the arcs. I'm gonna beat it in the next day or two, no question. It's gonna be done this week. I know I said that last week, but it's definitely going down. But that's it. I played Bramble and Mountain King, beat it. I've played Final Fantasy 16 almost every night for the last week, and yeah, a lot of Marvel Snap. That's it.
Very good. Kim, let's move on to you and what you've been playing this week.
Well, we went into Redfall again because I was enjoying it. And we got to the next like big part of the game where you move to a different area. And we did a bunch of quests over there. And I was getting very excited about getting like further into the game. And then when we loaded up the game on Sunday, we were all the way back at the beginning of that second part. So it lost our saves.
Christ.
And we ended up quitting and playing Fortnite because I was just so furious. So I said, okay, I love Redfall. I'm going to put it on the back burner for now. And when they fix that issue, we'll go back to it. And I know how everybody feels about Redfall. So we're going to gloss over that.
I liked it.
I love Redfall. I have so much fun with Redfall, but that was frustrating. And I don't often get frustrated, but like, especially if I weren't streaming, I'd be like, all right, so what? We'll do the quest again. But to like stream and go through everything again that everybody was there for the first time, it's like, forget it. You know, we'll do this off stream. We'll get back to that point again. And then we'll wait until they fix this issue. So, I finished Control main story and I loved it so much. This game Control is so satisfying. I can't even describe it. To be able to just like, you're shooting like crazy. And then as you're shooting, you're like, okay, well, I'm just going to grab this and I'm going to chuck this trash can directly at somebody's face and kill him. It's one of the most satisfying games. And I love Jessie Faden as a character because she's so real. Like all the little voice lines where when she's listening to somebody, like you hear what she's thinking and she is so real. I feel like they had to have said to the voice actor, like, well, just say whatever you would say at this moment. Because I don't know that I played a game where the character felt that real, you know, like saying all thinking the things that I would have been thinking myself. And it was pretty fantastic. And the way they did, I always look at chapters to get an idea of how long I'm going to have to stream a game for. But I didn't have the chapters pulled up. And I got to the point where it said, you know, the credits started to roll. And I was like, whoa, I'm done. Oh my God. And I got super excited. and a couple people in chat were like GG, and then I saw somebody else in chat was like GG, and I was like, and then I looked and all the words were getting real wavy, and I was like, uh-oh, and they were like, no, you're not done yet. So I actually stopped stream that night because I was like, this is going to be big. It's the last chapter. And the next time I streamed it, I finished that part in about, I don't know, 10 minutes. And I was like, oh, I could have done this on stream. But with that, I went into the Foundation, the first DLC. And it's just, I mean, that's one that's supposed to be meh. It's supposed to be okay. And I'm still having so much fun with it because I'm literally bashing rocks in people's faces and I'm killing people and then using them to kill more people. And it's fantastic. That sounds so bad, but it's so fun. So I'm very, very happy. I'm enjoying it.
Yeah,
and plus the little like Easter eggs from Alan Wake are really cool.
I've seen enough to know that the game looks awesome, and I've seen not enough of your stream of it that it still hasn't been spoiled for me really in any significant way. But there was like this one sequence where like this fucking awesome hard rock music starts playing. And
oh my God.
Like the Inception building moving starts going down. And it was just like so out of left field. I'm like, I'm sitting at my desk and I hear this music kick up. I'm like, the fuck is that? Because I didn't expect it to be coming from this game. And like, it is this super badass rock music starts playing just kind of like out of nowhere. I'm like,
and the whole that whole part was literally just you running through and wrecking everybody you see to get to the end of the ashtray maze. And I mean, and I mean, I kind of don't want to spoil it, but the name of the band, it's not the real band that does it, but the name of the band, like if you look at the soundtrack in your inventory, is a throwback to Alan Wake. So it was just so like my face hurt after that scene because I was like smiling so much because it was just so cool. Like, what on earth is happening? What a cool game. So I'm excited to get through the Foundation, and the rest of this week I'm getting through the Foundation, and also I'm going to start AWE. And between how much time I got into the Foundation, and I'm going to be streaming it Sunday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, I should be able to get through all of the DLCs. I'm thinking, because then after that is Alan Wake 2, and I'm very excited. So, we're gonna save my favorite. I started playing for Ko-fi. I started recording. It goes up tomorrow on Ko-fi. Mike, you're gonna love it. I started recording Flipwitch Forbidden Sex Hex.
Dude, I watched the trailer on Steam. What the fuck?
Put it this way. So when I started recording, I was wearing what I wore for stream. I was wearing like a t-shirt and I had a hoodie on because it's kind of cold in the house. And I started recording and I literally stopped it and I was like, no, I have to get dressed for this. Like, this is, I got to get dressed for this. You can't look like you just got back from the gym to play this game. So I changed my clothes and I fixed myself up a little bit and I played this game. And I can't even begin to tell you, first of all, it's a Metroidvania and it's really fun. And I hate that it's fun. Every time you hit somebody, they moan. And every time you talk to a character, they can't just stand there and talk. They're all like, and everything is bouncing and moving. And I literally cannot wait to record more of this game. And you know, I can't even talk about the scene when you die. I can't even talk about it because it's so bad. It is so bad. I am so glad I didn't attend. This game has to be banned on Twitch. It has to be.
Oh yeah, no, it is. It is 100%.
It is it banned? It is so fun, and I cannot wait to play more of it. It's ridiculous. Like, I literally almost felt dirty for how much fun I was having with it. It's so bad, and I can't wait. And I cannot wait to put it on Ko-fi, and I can't wait to know who watched it but doesn't want people to know that they watched it because it's so fun. It's so bad. Highly recommend it.
I gotta see this trailer.
Oh my God, it's so bad.
You gotta sign up for Mickey's Ko-fi.
I think even at $1, you get my or $2, I think is my lowest. You get my videos. Yeah. Okay. The last one I want to talk about Inscryption some more because I genuinely feel like there's some sort of brain.
I just threw my mic because I can't talk about it.
I know. I feel like they put some sort of brainwashing mechanism in Inscryption. That's the only way I can describe my love and my desire to play more of this game, to the point where I thought I finished it on stream and I genuinely felt sad. Like I felt empty. And I'm like, why do I feel this way over a game? But then it kept going and I was like, it's still going. Like I literally, if you were to look at my schedule, my stream schedule for this upcoming week, Mike knows how my schedule is. I have so many games that I play over the course of a week because I'm covering this one for that developer and covering this one for that developer. When I tell you my schedule this week is literally Inscryption. I added an extra day to play a different game. It's
Perfect.
Inscryption every morning and then Control at night. And I can't wait to play more. And I think there's like something, I think they did something and I think I'm brainwashed or something.
Johnny, before you say anything, I just sent you a DM. If you can look at it real quick on Discord. That way you know exactly how we really can't say anything. We can't say a thing.
Kim,
we can't say anything.
You gotta get moving. You gotta get moving, and then
because I saw you about to say something. I'm like, dude, we can't talk about it.
No, the only thing I was gonna say is I can't wait until you beat it so that I can show you the clip of when I beat it and my reaction of what happened at the end.
Oh, I can't wait. So I of course I want to end it because I'm like, I have to move on. I have to play other games. I have other games to play. Plus, I'm in a backlog competition right now in a server. I'm running a backlog competition next year in my server. So I'm like, I have to get through this so I can like put the points on and get to different games. But I don't know. There's something wrong with me.
You're literally talking about how much you enjoyed a road trip and you haven't even like closed the car door.
I know.
That's the only like analogy I know
that I think that's
even
from what I understand of the game, and nobody has really told me anything about further along in the game. But based on reactions of people, that's literally that's a perfect analogy so far. Because I mean, already I had already said this is going to be one of the games I wish I could play again for the first time.
Yep.
I can't even begin to describe how just the dumb things. Oh, I got to make what was it, Mike? I made I went to the Myco and I got grizzly bear.
You made a flying grizzly bear of like
the first time. The first time I made a flying grizzly bear,
awesome.
right? I made a flying grizzly bear. Second time I went to the Myco, and I got I paired up 2 grizzly bears, so it was 8 and 12, 8 damage, 12 health, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then I put Mantis God on it. So I'm sitting with this bear with Mantis God, 8 damage, 12 health. I destroyed it. And then the game kept going. So I'm very excited. I feel like there's definitely something wrong with me. I've never been this into a game. I've been into a lot of games. I love games. I can't. They put something in my Kool-Aid.
It's so good.
Yeah.
Almost the game of the year. So
yeah, it was almost our game of the year, unanimous between the two of us. It's that
Metroid was the force that could and did stop it from happening.
Correct.
So
wow.
It took a Metroid game,
oh, that's cute.
Basically. Well, very good. I have been busy this week also, comrades of the podcast. So I'm going to start, I guess, with just the ones that I had been playing. Let's wrap them up. Let's talk about The Last Faith. Oh, man. So I had been waiting for this game forever, and I have to be honest with all of you. It is exactly what I was hoping for. It is exactly what I wanted. However, I feel a butt there. There are some things that I want to talk about before I give a recommendation on it. So The Last Faith, obviously, it's Dark Souls meets Castlevania. Literally, it has the exact same leveling system as a Dark Souls game or Elden Ring. It even feels more or less like you're playing a 2D Bloodborne with a lot of the scenes and weapons that you have available. So really, really cool aesthetic. If you liked Blasphemous, you'll probably like The Last Faith, so long as you like the Dark Souls style leveling system. But that's about where the Souls likeness of the game starts and ends, because Souls is really about what? Two things: skill based combat and being intentionally, unfairly, punishingly difficult.
Mm-hmm.
And this game is neither of those things. This game has some of the easiest combat that I've ever dealt with in a 2D Metroidvania. Symphony of the Night was more complicated than this. Now, that's not to say that they didn't try. There's a lot of systems that involve, like holding RB and then pressing Y to like do a block. Guess what? You don't ever have to do that. It's not necessary at all, ever. You have the B button to roll out of the way. That's all you need to do. Just like Dark Souls, tuck and roll, baby.
Yeah.
Tuck and roll. Get out of the way. Good to go. So it has this parry system that really feels completely unnecessary and not really worth your time to even fuck with, to be honest. So really easy combat. And I know some people are going to play and be like, oh, Mike, no, this game's hard. I'm not saying it's not going to have some challenging moments, or that if you've never played one of these games before, that you're not going to have a challenge in front of you. Let me get this straight. It's not Kirby's fucking Dreamland. Okay.
Yeah.
You're not going to hand this to your infant and they're just going to waltz through it. No. But for this style of game, it is probably the easiest one that I've ever played. I think I took down, I don't think I died more than twice on any boss, except for the first one when you first get into the game, because I was like, how the fuck do I play this game?
Right.
Like trying to parry and stuff before I realized, oh, you don't really need to do that. So The Last Faith, man, it really has the aesthetic down. Graphically, it's beautiful. The music's great. The different weapons and stuff are cool, but it suffers a lot of the same pitfalls that a Dark Souls game suffers, where ultimately there's a weapon that you should be using. There's a build that's better than the rest. And when you hit a certain point, collecting your souls and leveling up, you break the game and just turn it into something far simpler than probably was intended. So The Last Faith, whereas I really enjoyed it, and my 15 hours that it took me to roll credits on it, all in all, with its flaws, I would still recommend it to someone who likes that genre. And particularly if you like Blasphemous, The Last Faith for me is a 7.5 out of 10. So good, but flawed.
Got it.
Time to move on to a game that's much better in terms of just about everything. I was completely blown away by this little game called Cocoon, which I was so not hot on when I first saw that. Johnny, you remember? I was like, "Ugh, look at this stupid game with the stupid art and the stupid bug."
I was hot on it because I'm familiar with their other two games. Limbo and Inside are both fucking awesome. And I don't know if you've played either of those.
I've played Limbo some, and yeah, no, it's fantastic. But this game doesn't really look anything like those other two.
It doesn't. It
doesn't. So thank you to Game Pass. I was like, there's that Cocoon game. Let me click on that. How long does it take to beat? 4 hours? All right, I guess I got 4 hours to check out this new game. Hooked like instantly. The puzzle system in this game is wonderful. I'm going to ask a question that I think I know the answer to. Kim, Johnny, do either of you like the game Portal?
Love Portal.
I love Portal.
You need to play Cocoon. You
I've
100% need to play Cocoon.
I've played like an hour of it. It's dope.
Yeah, the further you get into it, so kind of the way that Cocoon works is once you get through the first level, your little character is given an orb. And you can stick this orb into a machine and go into it, and it's actually a whole nother world. It's actually a whole nother level in the game that contains a boss. Well, that's cool. So as you work through that, you get another orb. Well, you can put orbs inside of orbs, and it can be different ones. So like as you progress through the game, you have an orange orb, you have a green one, you have a white one, you have a purple one, and then there's the main world in which you exist. And all these different puzzles are solved by dropping these balls that are worlds inside of other ones. There was this puzzle where there was this target in the green orb, right? And then in the orange orb, there was a spot to put an orb and a cannon. And you could move the target in one of the other orbs that was in the green one. So like one of the puzzles was you had to bounce between 3 worlds to set up a target that would get shot by a cannon from another dimension.
That's
and then
awesome.
carry this ball through the main world as all this shit's happening in the ones that you're carrying. Like it goes off the rails after about the first hour and how cool the puzzles are in this game. They're really unlike anything I've ever seen before. So I mean, in terms of game design, this is groundbreaking, and it's doing that world shift, the realm shifting, just like we saw in Ratchet and Clank. Because anytime you dive into an orb, it just rolls you out of one world right into the next. No load screens at all in the game. It's beautiful. It runs like absolute butter too. And it's not a game that needs to, but it does. So the story is kind of a story through osmosis, kind of thing, where you're never really told who you are or what you're doing or what the point of any of it is. But you know what? I like that. That's okay for a game just to say, I'm a game and I've got scary monsters in it and cool mechanics and cool worlds, and you're just going to exist here for a few hours. I ended up 100%ing Cocoon. I have every single achievement for it unlocked on the Xbox now.
Well done.
It is absolutely one of the best games that I've played this year. It deserves all the praise that it's getting. And yeah, I totally slept on it because like it didn't present very well in a video. It's a game that you have to sit down and get lost in for a few hours for it to click. What the fuck is even happening and what scale is it going to go to? You just don't get until you play it. So I think a lot of people are going to miss it. Hopefully Game Pass helps solve that. But it's really good and folks should really play this game. So all in all, with its great design, it's just being unique. I scored the game an 8.5 out of 10. I mean, it's absolutely fantastic. It took me 5 hours and 45 minutes to 100% the game, so it's not going to take up a ton of your time. And yeah, it's really good. So for people out there that stream, this is a great one that you can knock out in a day. For people traveling, got a couple of nights in a hotel, you can clear this out no problem. Or if you just want something to play and relax, I use this as filler when I was playing The Last Faith, and I'd hit a point where I'm like, I just need a break from moody Last Faith world. Let me go play with Cocoon. So I really enjoy this game and strongly recommend you all go out and play it. Next up, what's that smell? Oh, it's the return of the stinky Switch. That's right. I've been playing games on Nintendo's much beleaguered, ready to be replaced system, the Nintendo Switch.
Please.
Which man, I mean, for it being at the end of its life cycle, they just dropped 2 absolute bangers for it. At the same year that they released the Zelda game. So we just got Super Mario Brothers Wonder, and we got a remake of my favorite Mario game of all time, Super Mario RPG. And I'm playing both of them because I'm not going to pick. When I get tired of playing RPG, I can pop in Wonder. So this is going to be a fun time as I work through these two. Where to start? Let's start with Mario Brothers Wonder. As Johnny, I know that you have some familiarity with it. You've played it a little bit. It is such a Mario game, isn't it? It really is very much just a Mario game, but that's not a bad thing.
No.
I don't think any of the new mechanics are like, holy shit, you got to stop what you're doing and go play this right now. I don't think it's that, but I think it's, for what it is, it was time for another one of these to come out. We hadn't had one in an original sense since the Wii U and Super Mario Brothers U. And so it was time. I think it's fun, but I know exactly what I'm getting from this. So if you like Mario games, if you've liked Mario games at all in your lifetime, you're probably going to enjoy playing this one. I was really confused when I started the game and I was running with, what was it, fucking A or Y and jumping with X. I'm like, what the fuck? Why am I not running with B and jumping with A like every other Mario game that's ever existed? I actually had to go into a menu and change it to that. They had that as an option, but it wasn't the default option for the controls on a Mario game. I thought that was very strange. So if you picked up the game and like, why does this feel fucking terrible? That's why. Go change your controls, because the default control schematic completely goes against everything that you've learned in your brain playing video games for the past 30 years. You need to change that back to B and A. But I mean, honestly, guys, outside of that, I don't have a ton to say about it. The elephant's cool. I don't know what the fucking point of the elephant is, other than it's a big fucking elephant that if you see some water, you can suck some water up and blow it at someone. I thought fireballs were a little bit more efficient.
Right. Well, you can also you can whack things with your trunk.
Yes,
like break blocks and shit.
That's you can trunk whack, which is the only time like you really need it. So yeah, I don't know what all the hype about the elephant was, other than it's like cute that you turn into an elephant.
Yeah.
But that's, at least for now, I mean, that's really about all I have to say about the game. Johnny, did you have anything you wanted to add in from having some time with it yourself?
Well, I mean, you nailed it. It's the most Mario game that we've had in a very, very long time. I mean, you could hop in a time machine and go play somebody that's played nothing but Super Mario World and plop them down in front of Super Mario Wonder, and they'd be right at home. And I think that's awesome that there's not a lot of companies that like hold on to that legacy of what they do and don't, they'll experiment. They'll do a 3D Mario, they'll do Mario Galaxy, Mario Odyssey, but I just love that they went, with Metroid Dread, they went back to their roots. And now with Mario Wonder, went back to their roots. Like if you only played Super Metroid, you're going to be right at home with Metroid Dread. If you only played Super Mario World, you can be able to pick up Super Mario Wonder. And Nintendo knows what they're doing, man. They're not dummies. They're good at what they do.
Brings me to my final game, my beloved Super Mario RPG. Man, is it weird seeing this game on a widescreen and like zoomed in to the extent that it is, because it looks beautiful. And like, I have a very strong memory of the first Mario RPG game, how it looks, what the fidelity is like. And I mean, the overhaul that they've done of this version is fantastic and really is going to help make sure that this game is insured by a whole new generation of people, with some massive like lifestyle improvements that, holy shit, am I jealous of. Did you guys know that the game autosaves constantly?
No, that's awesome.
That's really nice.
If you think back to the old Super Mario RPG, there were these floating fucking boxes with stars on them that, holy shit, when your parents would call you down for dinner, because that's how fucking long ago this was, and they're like, "Where's the box? I need to find a box to jump on. Oh my God, I'm stuck in a level.
Mike, it's time to turn the Nintendo off. I can't. I haven't saved my game yet. No, you got to turn it off. You're done.
These kids, they'll never know.
I
These kids
know.
will never know."
I know.
So true.
That's so true.
So like now, like even if you're playing and like your battery dies or something because your stinky Switch is all worn out from its 8 years of use, it doesn't matter because the game autosaves constantly. And it's funny because like they almost meme on the old save mechanic right off the bat. So like when you first go into the game, Toad is basically like explaining what to do, like how to save your game and how to jump and use items and stuff. And he walks over and he like goes, "Yeah, this is something you old timers will remember. This is how you used to save the game. You can still do that if you want, but you don't have to." I'm like, "Are you kidding?" And then instinctively, I immediately jumped on the box to save my game. I'm like, "Holy shit, I've got to save my game."
So the save blocks are still where they were in the game. So if you want to continue to just save point your way through the game, you can, but it's just going to keep auto saving regardless.
Correct.
That's really cool.
That's pretty cool.
If you think that's cool, check this out. So there's a famous glitch in the original release of Super Mario RPG. Now, of course, everyone listening, this dates back to the era of cartridges, and you couldn't update a game after you published it. So there was this glitch on one of the end bosses of the game where if you attacked it with Geno, the little marionette character, and you used Geno Whirl on this boss, and you did the timed hit, that it would do 9,999 damage and one-shot the boss. Every single time. They intentionally left that glitch in the game. So speedrunners of this generation don't have to relearn how to do their speedruns. And like they even came out and said, "No, yeah, we're leaving that in the game." Because that's how the game was that we're remaking. We're remaking the game, bugs and all.
Yeah.
So they've intentionally left old breaks and bugs intact in the new version of the game. Just, that's as good as it gets, right?
It's right up there with Metroid Prime Remastered, man. They know what the fuck they're doing. They're just, Nintendo is the king of their own domain, and they're fucking real good at it.
So I've had a great week in gaming. Hopefully all of you out there listening have as well. However, we are nearing the end of the show, so I guess Kim, I've been rambling on for a minute. Let me pass this mic back to you. Do you have any closing thoughts for us this week?
So it's funny. I wrote something down, and then as my brain does, it completely shifted. And I do have a closing thought. I was tagged in a tweet today. So one of the dudes from Wired tagged me in a tweet. And it is a tweet because Daniel Mullins, the creator of Hex, Pony Island, and Inscryption, put out a really cryptic video for his next game. So there's a new game coming out.
Can you link that to us in our chat?
I can. There's a new game coming out. And basically what happened was there was a tweet that basically said like, "Hey, D Mullins Games, at D Mullins Games, the link you sent me is dead." And everybody came to try and figure out what was this link, what's going on. So there's a trailer for a new game he's coming out with. And I like literally when I tell you my buddy D Gausser was like, "Yo, at I am Mickey Ran," the big eyes with a link to this whole like crazy thing that's going on. Pretty cool. Wow, I'm very, very excited. So I will definitely I'll send you the link for that.
A little of the Kojima magic there with the
pretty wild. Pretty cryptic.
That's awesome.
Pretty cryptic, yeah. Definitely his style. I don't know if you guys played Pony Island, but I highly recommend it. It's really bizarre. I mean, it's literally like, I mean, very, very different than Inscryption, but you can tell it's the same developer, if that makes sense. and that was the first of Daniel Mullen's games that I played. And this is definitely like his style. Like this is falls right into line, so it's pretty cool.
Excellent. Johnny, on to you. Any closing thoughts for us this week?
Yeah, the Furiosa trailer dropped today. Have either of you watched it yet?
Nope.
I saw it without sound because I was busy rehearsing.
Okay. George Miller is back to direct, same director that did Fury Road. And the movie is about a young Furiosa. So Charlize Theron's character is played by Anya motherfucking Taylor-Joy.
I love her.
Co-starring Chris Hemsworth.
I don't love him as much.
Dude, I was 30 seconds into this trailer. It was like day one at the theater. I'm fucking there. It looks so good. Look, when I saw Mad Max Fury Road, the main takeaway I just kept sharing with everyone is like, they don't fucking make movies like this anymore. They just don't. Everything's on a green screen. Everything's fucking in a fake whatever. And no. Fury Road, Mad Max Fury Road is like, what if we just took a bunch of crazy ass vehicles out in the desert and fucking blew them up? And that's what they're doing again. And they're going to get everybody's money again. And I cannot wait. It looks incredible. And I'm a huge Anya Taylor-Joy fan. After watching Queen's Gambit, I will watch anything that she's in.
Yes. Yeah, my favorite, newest favorite horror movie, of course, The Witch, is basically all her. So.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, she's wonderful.
I really love her. I love her a lot, yeah.
Me too.
I'm looking to see right now who else is in it. But I definitely want to see that. What I find interesting is that they dub it, like the title is Furiosa, a Mad Max saga, which makes me wonder if they're going to like do more.
I think they will. If this does well, I think that's probably where they're headed, is they're going to start giving these little side stories of these really, because there's so many little wacky characters.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, dude.
You're making me ill right now.
Why?
Mike hates fucking spin-offs and sequels. He wants nothing but new content. As soon as they start talking about making more and more and more, he's out.
Spin-offs can do good.
Three is the fucking limit. Like, and they can all three of them be awesome, but please. Like, hey, do you remember the character that was sitting in the back of the guy's car in the 23rd minute of this movie? Well, he's got his own special feature.
Do you remember the girl sitting on the bench who gave side-eye and picked her nose?
So, Mike, do you remember the guitar guy? There was the one vehicle that had the big-ass fucking speakers, and the dude was just shredding guitar the whole time?
So badass.
He needs a spin-off movie. Right?
Mike is done.
Guitar guy, a Mad Max saga. I'd be fucking in. Take my money.
Guitar guy, guitar lunatic. I would say the guitar loon.
All right, now that
look at Mike.
Now that I've killed Mike, I think we can wrap up the show.
I want to send Mike every spin-off I find.
Ladies and gentlemen, that terrible disappointment.
I'm going to be DMing Mike pictures of characters from Mad Max for the next 2 weeks. Be like, remember this guy? What's his deal? We need
Mike,
his
what's
backstory.
your favorite movie? I want to find all these little tiny characters in your favorite movie.
My favorite movie?
We're going to create backstories.
My favorite movie of all time is Alien.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I knew that.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good one.
That is a good one.
We will, of course, be back again next week with another great episode of the Power Gamer podcast for you to enjoy. Until that time, I'm Mike Dawson.
And I'm Johnny Paulus.
And I'm Kim with a name that's too long to say at the end.
Ponticello.
Ponticello.
Tune in next time. Take care.
Catch you on the flip-flop.
Ooh, yeah.